Okay, so you know, you know, it's bad enough that I get bored and I just start making random videos. But it gets bad when, of course, I'm starting to be like, hey, let me play this game again. So I kind of want to, do a more updated and actually more what's the word? Like a little more like clearer, video of this because the one I made 2 years ago, aka called Lamento.com 4 years later, um, you can't really hear me in that video. It's because my mic was pretty fucking quiet. But in this video, I'm going to be going over pretty much all, like, this entire website, as well as all the other little stuff and hidden things and whatnot. So, without further ado, okay, I'm just making sure that's not that loud. You know what I might just do? I might, well, never mind. It's already low enough. So, unfortunately, I'm going to be playing this at full blast. So, well, I don't know if that picked up or not, but we'll see. Hold on. Okay, it picked up. Alright, so, this is one of the versions of main.html, which of course you have for, mirrors or for buttons and whatnot. But this version of it actually has dolls, and if you click on one of them, it'll make that sound. Now I want to see if if I'll get the version load, which looks like this. Now, funnily enough, in the original version, it wasn't like this. If you accidentally clicked on the face and whatnot, or in this case the fifth dot, you would get this as a jump scare. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So most people would probably go like, hey, let me click on the first dot, and this leads to Elizabeth.html. You got 5 heads here. But back then they all used to, move in different directions and whatnot. So there's that. You have this text all here, and I forgot about you. But you used to have all these text here, but you can't really translate this. I think back then you were like able to, but stop that. But you can't now. Now you may have noticed there are two bits of text here that are in dark red. Also, I just realized it does that face, not your face. And if you click this video here, this leads to some text in. Oh, hey, look, it's one of my videos. But this leads to some text that I don't exactly remember what it says, but it's like a poem, I think. I might be wrong. Uh, Also, I've been up since 7 a.m., by the way. I just want to make that clear. Uh, but it does say something, and I don't remember exactly what the context of it is. This other one, on the other hand, is actually a more important one, which we'll get to later. Now, you might be looking at this and being like, wait, this is just a door with a broken glass and, doll heads and whatever this is in the middle. Well, of course, on first glance, you're probably going to be like messing around, trying to think, oh, what is this? What is this? What's code here? Like what? Guys, wait, what's code here? But we'll get back to this later because it actually does become important. However, in the original version of Lamento.com, before Flash died in 2020, I think in 2019 or 2018 around there, everything eventually became an HTML type of link, and originally you can actually drag these dolls um, across the those certain parts and whatnot. So there's that. Also, anytime you go backwards in the actual search engine, there won't be any sound. So the second one here. Oh, fucking Christ! That is so loud on my fucking end. That led to Non Non. He basically just slams your uh for your screen for as long as you can. Uh, it was kind of different in the original, but it's not really anything different. Now, this one, I'm not going to pronounce trying to say that. Now, this one, it may seem like nothing at first, but, you see, it has text up here, it has time, And it's kind of, it's like, wait, this is in real time to your location, time zone, day, whatever. Say if you're in like Australia right now, it'd be, April 3rd. Huh. But there is a secret in this. At 3 a.m. And if I'm not mistaken, I might have caught it on video, but I'm pretty sure if hold on, to be on the safe side here. Oh wait, hold on, I didn't get this. Yeah, there you go. There you go. You actually have something nice to look at. Also, about this art piece here. I'm probably gonna be having this be updated probably within a day or so. So yeah, and also I might fuck. Because I'm trying to type something. I'm trying to like maybe hopefully have that updated, and on top of that, I have you know, I hope to have that essentially done and whatnot. But if you want a gist of what you'll be looking at, or what to expect at 3 a.m., which I'll open this image in a new tab. Well, it's gonna be hard to tell. Actually, hold on. If I do, well, it's gonna be hard to tell, but there you go. So I'm gonna open up Chrome again. Bada bing, bada boom. As you can tell, that is the jump scare that appears at 3 a.m. And if I'm pretty sure specifically at 3 a.m., or actually no, this appears at midnight, but specifically at 3 a.m., I'm pretty sure it makes a sound for like 1 second, but I don't remember. Anyway, let's go to my fucking ear. Oh, seizure warning. So this leads to the rave room. You got 3 doors to select here, and if you clicked any of these, you get to a different location. The third door if it can look okay, because this is gonna be a little bit of an issue because randomly my fucking PC restarted last night, and I think I'm witnessing what most people on Windows 11 are witnessing now, so that's great on me. Oh, it's a nice little hallway, with books, and the gallery's over there. Let's go to there. I don't. Yeah, you die. Basically, that's a little bit of a troll. Or it's a little bit of a tease. Up, Caesar again. The second door. Yeah, leads to that. Meanwhile, the third. Damn it. The third door. Oh no. Okay. So. Before this one, before I show what this one does. So obviously it's a YouTube video, and you might be like, another YouTube video? Well, originally for I think what's that file name, like YDAD or something like that. There would only be 2 doors, and if you point you put your mouse in like the middle or so, you would actually set off the second door jump scare. Now, for this door specifically, this actually is a lot more different. Originally, there would be a dark room with moving, conveyor belts and whatnot. But every time you would open up, one of these, vents or whatnot, and the door wasn't there, it would jump scare you with a jump scare that you'll see eventually. But if you got the door correct, it would lead to this exact video, except this one is a little different. The other one, of course, was Flash made. Okay. I want it to be clear here. Oh, sorry. I want it to be clear here that jump scare used to be 5 times more scarier. I mean, oh my god, it terrified the fuck out of me. I remember having nightmares about it, funnily enough. But it's so damn creepy, man. Anyway. Next up on the heads, you got the biggest head of them all. Whoa. So, this might be just what the hell do I do here? Essentially, you have, a notepad, or a keypad, and you just try typing in, numbers. Doesn't work. You do another one. Doesn't work. You do another one. Doesn't work. You do another one. When did I open it a fifth time? Yeah, thanks. So yeah, basically, if you open it 5 times without getting the code correct, you die. But we'll get back to that. The small head, and the final one of Elizabeth, leads to a TV. What happens if I clicked it? No. Go away. Go away. Go away. Go away. I said to pray. Oh. Text. Can I translate this? Yeah. It basically leads to a dead end. Now, that kind of used to be altered a little bit. It kind of wasn't like, you start with the TV, and then eventually it would go to, what was cursed. I think it was named something else. I might be wrong. And then that same jump scare would play, but the text would actually be, there would actually be a lot more text. Now, I don't know what that text says on the other hand, but let's go back and go to the second room, which leads to chaos.html. Now, this is one of the more important HTMLs. But before we get to, the one that you probably would be like, I should click on that. Let's go to the little germs here. Or whatever it is. Bacteria, whatnot. Now, you can't translate this, but you do get something, which is pretty cool. But unfortunately, you can't translate any of this, so you're kind of just, left to wonder. I don't know what this hand motion is. Let's click on the face. Yeah, it just leads to that. It actually has been the same thing, except the picture would actually be different. Now, I think in the earlier version of Lomando, back in, say, 2013, 2014 or something like that, or somewhere around there, it used to have, a guy with no head, or I don't remember. Then the second one would lead to a different picture with, some guy just named Sushi or something like that. But every time you clicked on it, it would lead to the same jump scare. Now let's go to the newspaper. The newspaper leads to what I would believe is just writing. Now, unfortunately, you can't translate this anymore, but back then, it would say something like, I'm scared of dolls that are decorated in the house or whatnot, but it's kind of like a poem about their nightmare or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but you could translate this, but I don't remember if that's what it is. So why can't I click? Hey, why can't I? Why is this one typing out? I don't like that. Yeah. There also used to be a lot more entries. There was one that kind of just had the letter A spammed on it. So, but the jump scare was kind of fun. I remember. I remember when my neighbor, my old neighbor, back when I used to live in my old house, my neighbor, I let my neighbor play this and he was not freaked out at all. I was kind of the one that was freaked out. I was the scaredy one. But it was pretty funny the way I saw that. So let's click on the heart. The heart leads to, yeah, I'm not pronouncing that because I am not really good with pronunciations in other countries. But this one will take a little bit to load depending on how fast your router is. Because unless you're me, this will work on and off. But thankfully it's T-Mobile now. So you might be like, alright, this is creepy. Well, let's enter the door. That didn't work. Let's try again. I want to make to the door. Okay. So obviously that's not working, right? You're just Alright. Okay. So basically, you're kind of just, looking around, trying to see if you can click anything, but then you realize that these are, or in a sense, something seems off about this wallpaper. This reveals a specific assortment here, and you see numbers on the side with, stuff like this. You click the other ones, you have another number pad, and you have a button. So you're kind of just what do I do with this? Well, based on, how you see this here, and you see these little things down here, you get the code of B, excuse me. So you get a code of DBDA. And with that, you kill the slasher. I don't remember the actual name of it. So obviously you're like, I'm just gonna, walk my merry way. I don't know what that button does, and you try to grab the machete, as seen here. Well, little did you know, in order for you to pass that area, you actually type that up again. Well, first of all, you type it up again, and you're just like, but you're supposed to press the button. Sound of the gates open. That's basically what it says. And now you essentially can walk through this and, get the kill. Or get the, machete. As seen here. Now, this was a little bit different back then, where you would actually walk up to the door instead of just, going through it and then dying or, going through that. But everything else roughly stayed the same, except for, of course, when you press the button, when, like, that sound I don't think used to play back then. But enough of me talking here. And now, we go to the next area, which I'm not going to pronounce it again, but we lead to a room that looks something like this here. So you're kind of just like, what the hell do I do here? But you may have noticed that there is a little bit of a code here, and that leads to the Clown Theater code, which is right, left, down, down, up. So there's that. But you get led to this room, and you're just like, okay. So you decide to walk through. Nothing happens. Alright. I'm going to walk through again. Hopefully nothing happens this time. Right. So that lady will appear, but this actually used to be a lot more different back then. Originally, of course, when, Flash was still around and whatnot, you would be able to, go through several rooms of this, but a later version actually had, the Clown Theater code just, fly down there, and it would basically become, show the password. That same jump scare would appear. However, there was a chance it would actually appear on the side to the left. Like, it would appear like, the door would open, but it wouldn't do like a blink animation, and she would appear on the right. There used to be two other jump scares there. There used to be one with Elise, which is a common jump scare in this game, that would appear on the screen, but you wouldn't have to kill it. And then there was a weird jump scare where it would lead to like it would just go like, oh! It was weird. I didn't know the reason behind that. And then the final door, or the final way you have to go would lead to a door that's like red with text around it that I don't know. Now, of course, you get led to, I'm not going to try and say this, and you get to slash some dolls up. Now, this used to be a little more difficult back then, and they also used to not have, this sound that would play. But they would, essentially play this, like, sound and whatnot. But essentially, you have to kill 15. I think back then it didn't really matter how many you killed. There was a certain record, of course, back then and whatnot, and I don't know. Of course, if you failed to do that, the doll would kill you, and you would get game over. Now, of course, that I did that, you get basically an entry, and I think this says it's open or something. I don't know. Now, you're like, oh, okay, so that's the game. So you're just going to open one of these pictures. Okay, I guess I wasn't supposed to allow that one. Let me get hentai! Excuse me, I was supposed to get that. How about if I open up these eyes? Yeah, essentially, you get led to the exact same thing, and you're just like, okay, well, this just led me to nothing. Oh god, that is the worst spit I've ever had on a monitor. But you mess around and you're like, wait, what does this mean? Now, this will lead, you might be wondering, what the hell am I doing here? If, of course, wrong thing. If, of course, I haven't been able to, go back there and whatnot. But because I didn't actually show this off, I'm going to go back to main.html. So of course I haven't been able to show off the, because we still have these other two that we have to go through. Now we lead to this, this third one leads to a little bit of a maze, but if you fail, you just get red screened, but nothing else. Don't worry, you will be fine. It's not like jump scare or anything. So of course, if you do this, you just get that. So it kind of just leads to a pretty much nothing room. This third one, on the other hand, or this last one, this fourth one, has this little description here that this place, the place that you can reach from either door is the same. So it doesn't matter what door you take, you will get the same result. However, this first one leads to this maze here. Failing this maze will lead to a black screen. And of course, if you click the door, you lead to jump scare. Now, hold on. So, if you were to say, if you somehow cheat, because it is possible to cheat on this, or something like that. If you get to the door without, you actually going through the pathway, you get jump scared. And there's a list, by the way. Now, if you do go through it, perfectly fine and whatnot, you will actually get led to, of course, the same area, as previously mentioned. But the second door leads to this room with chests in it. It seems like it's locked. Well, let's try to find the key. There's that jump scare I was talking about for what was originally that, door area. And of course, if you die 3 times, you will, fail and whatnot. Come on. Come on. We might be here for a while. There we go. Just to not waste time. But you basically get a key from one of them, and this leads to 2 doors. I'm sorry I killed your ears for approximately 7 seconds, I think. So you get led to 2 doors. Well, right is always the right door, so I'll open that one. Yeah, you get basically led to a jump scare, and the jump scare sound actually used to be different back then, where it was not that, and instead was the basic screamer sound. The second door, or the left door, actually leads you to this note here, which leads to 2648, which actually is in reference to this code here. And once you get, the code correct for this, or once you find that code... Okay, I just screwed up. There we go. You get led with 4527. So, what the hell does that mean? And that's all I led to? Well, yes, that's basically what the heart leads to. So, you basically are kind of in a death zone there. So, you're kind of at a dead end. So, you basically go all the way back and click on the last one that you haven't gone to yet. Okay. I hope this doesn't get myself age restricted. And you also can't translate this, which I'm not sure what it even says. So, obviously, you can't really click on anything else but the red eyes. You get led to another video with... That's not a video. That was a fucking glass door. Well, actually, this leads to Yoko Showman, or I think that's what his name is. And there are 2 versions of this. There is the English version, which has, or the Japanese version, which has, you typing in Japanese. While the Japanese version has, not Yoko, Yokan no Shonan, or whatever. Yeah, that. By the way. Now, if I look back, because I did type this out a while ago. I have to find it real quick. Sorry, I'm wasting time here. Okay. So the code, because the video will actually play and you get red cards, or you get cards or whatnot, but you're supposed to type in the red ones. Now, a little hint to show you is that Ace, of course, what is all that doing there, is that Ace actually means 1 because it's just 1, by the way. But the code, if you watch the video long enough, is 1594228391893. Wait. Excuse me. 3159, if I'm not mistaken. Oops, I typed it wrong. 8931959, I'm pretty sure. There you go. Sorry I did not mean to give you the wrong one. Now, there wasn't actually an English version, so you actually, back in, like, before 2018, if I remember, or 2017, actually, you were basically forced to, like, look up the code in Japanese, so. Or actually, no, you could type in the code in English, and it would also work, too. Now, you got a door, and... yeah. Basically, that would just lead to that jump scare, and I'm just like, Alright. So you see this next room, and you're just like, oh, okay, there's nothing else I can really do here. That jump scare fucked me up first time I saw it. Anyway. So, basically, you're like, wait, what do I do here if this just leads to a dead end? Well, you're actually supposed to click on these eyes. And click on every one of them. This leads to the actual door, which was hidden. This then will lead to these guys. And you're just like, well, if I did the same thing for the last one, I'll do it again. This will lead to the next door, which leads to this. And if you click on this door, you'll get slightly jump scared for a second. But if you click on it again, you get sent to Tobiras, or Tobiras, or whatever. Sorry, I can't speak English. So, you get led to this weird, trippy room. You enter the door. Now, there are 4 possibilities from this door. You get non-non, you get curse, or you get, the news thing again. But now, you get led to Toka Noma. Now, this is an important room because, of course, getting this is kind of RNG based, but I'm just making sure my thing is still on. You can, but this room is kind of important to the game. You have lights here. You can turn this light off, or you can turn whatever this light does. What is? Okay, we're back at the main. Yeah, it leads to that. Just to be fair. So instead of wasting my time, instead of wasting my time, I'll just type in Toka Noma again. So yeah, maybe don't hit that switch. Also, I don't know if you can tell, I took my headset off because I didn't want my ears to get blasted because I had my volume so down. So, you're just like, okay, so what do I do? Well, there is a place you can click on. Now, of course, we have the Clown Theater, but before I show this one, of course, let's go back to main. Where is it? There you go. So, if you remember, Clown Theater also appears in Elizabeth. So, let's go back to Elizabeth here, and it's the big head. So, of course, with the code that you got, not that, with the code that you got, that's not it. There you go. With the code that you got, you get to able to access Clown Theater. Now, of course, if you're not like me and you do it out of order, you get sent to the first one, which has this dot here. Oh, okay. Can I reload the tab? Okay. Yep. Okay. I can't scroll through this either, man. Get this error out of here. Yeah. However, you get to to play a game, aka rock, scissors, rock, paper. Or rock, scissors, paper, rock, whatever. It's basically rock, paper, scissors, where basically you're trying to defeat your opponent. First one you face is the Pie Man or whatever. If you tie, you do both take damage, which you want to be careful. You can choose the other options. I'm just choosing the pen. And, of course, do the wrong move and you take damage. You get nice music, though, to alongside of it. Oh my god, it's going to really come down to this last hit here. Okay. And by defeating him, you basically get to the store. Now, if you lose to him, if I remember, Shinta would appear. I don't remember. But if you enter the store, you get jump scared. But you get a paper. Now, this paper will actually be helpful later. So, what I'm... Ignore that. Okay. So what I'm gonna do... I need to make sure... okay. Hold on. I think we need a more like safer way to do this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna basically do that, so that way we have it, on surface here. So no, don't open up bricks and rods. Your fucking PC's gonna crash. I have that in my recording. Okay, now let's go back to what we were doing. So this will come in handy later. But of course, that's that clown theater done. Now let's go to the next one. So this one will actually lead to more of these guys. So you might be thinking, oh, I'm just going to do it again. That's low. Well, that wasn't supposed to happen. Well, actually, what was supposed to happen was that those guys actually would appear quicker. But back in the old version, they wouldn't just be stale images and whatnot. So back then, it would kind of be like they all move around, except they would make a different sound. The red ones, on the other hand, would actually be a little more difficult to get because they spawn a little quicker. But now let's enter the door. Introducing Mother Poochie. So basically, it's this again, except with a little bit of something different this time. You're now in a poisonous state as a mare. It's the same fight, and you lose 5 health every single time you do an action, which means you'll lose damage even while doing other sort of damage. So, it's kind of like, you want to be a little careful with this one. As I'm clearly not doing a good job at it. The worst part is I think I might die even before beating him. Alright, let's try again. Now, the jump scare itself actually used to be a different sound instead of that sound, because yes, it would. But I'm doing this to myself, really, man. Of course, ties still do take an effect, but you're actually taking damage instead of doing anything about that. Oh my god, man, can you fucking not? Thank you. I just wanted to make you take damage. Oh my god, man, can you please not? Can you die? Okay. Alright, thankfully I didn't have to, take too long. So now you get to the door, which... however, you actually get another code while doing this. So you get another half of the I code here, which leads to this paper. So now we have 2 sets of I codes here. So yeah, you basically get the whole gist of it with this one. So let that be known. Anyway, but that basically leads to the dead end of this part. However, if you go back in Tokonoma, you can turn the light off and you're thinking, what can I do with that? What happens if I turn this one up? Never mind. So you might be like just going like, oh, I can click on something, I can click on something. Well, actually, you can enter this door, to which leading to this door will lead you to this weird eye room. Now, Tokonoma actually used to be a little different. Back in the old version, as you saw with the slew of jump scares there, aka the jump scares, like the 5 jump scares in a row, it actually used to be fire, ice, air, and 2 other names. But they used to be all different jump scares, except for the 3rd jump scare that actually appeared last instead of second. And the jump scares in order would be Pie Man, that doll, that cursed face we saw when we opened that one door, and Non Non would be the 4th one, with I forgot what its name is, being the last one, aka the jump scare in the newspaper. So there's that. Leading to this room, of course, you may be like, well, what's the code for this? Well, you remember that 4527 code you got when you opened the 2648 code? Well, that's exactly what this code is. Leading to this, getting this code correct opens the doors. Now, of course, in the old version, the eyes would actually follow your cursor, which I thought was pretty cool. Now, loading, of course, will lead you to this weird red room. Ew. I don't like that. Alright. Well, the door's down here. Oh. Well, what am I supposed to do now? I mean, okay. Let's go through it now. God damn it. Let's go through it again. What's this TV lead to? Well, opening this TV here will lead you to the other part of the cursed, of like, the curse thing here, which will lead to text that looks like that. Hey, it's my mix. Go check it out. Shameless plugs be like. Anyway, which leads to the other part of the little mystery here. And I got pinged, of course, because yeah. So you have Small Goober and that. All right. So hopefully I don't touch that door. Okay. It was just my friend texting me. Anyway, let's go back. Sorry, you gotta go. Anyway, let's go down the door. Really? That wasn't the end? Perhaps let's, I don't know. Okay, I guess we're going through the door now. Totally means we're gonna enter it. Well, this actually leads to something that you may be familiar with. This code here. This code... Actually, now that I realize it, I need to... Before I, forget everything and, get the, 2 sort of codes here. I'm going to, screenshot this just so I don't forget it in case I do. But basically, this leads to, not that, this leads to this code here, this little color code. And you might be like, well, what the hell does this mean? You remember that, the first head in Elizabeth, and there was a certain text with a certain door with doll heads and colors. That's what this is. Oh, cool. Wait, why can't I click on it? Yeah, it's that. But yeah, that leads to that. So now you go back to main and go back to Elizabeth and click on the first head and click on this text here. Now that you have the code, which is boom, you basically start the color code the dolls in, of course, the color that they appear in order. Now, as previously mentioned back then, it used to be a lot different. Actually, but that page that we were on used to be a lot different. It used to be a giant room. And it would be like photos of things you've already seen in the game. Now, oh god. Now, you would be able to find, the same thing again, but it would be like a different, portrait, and the glass would also be shattered. But if you searched around long enough, you would find that same code, and that's how you got that code in the old version. Now, with this door open, you get led to rock, paper, scissors. Now, the English version, I'm still kind of figuring out, but as you can tell, this little description here has scissors, of course, losing to rock, rock winning to scissors, but scissors wins against paper, while scissors wins against, scissors also loses to rock, and rock loses to paper, but paper loses to, yeah. But you get the gist. It's rock, paper, scissors. But playing the video will lead to you having to follow along. So you might be like, what the hell did that? What was all that? Well, actually, this leads to what this code is here. Now, it's hard to figure out at first, and even I will admit I kind of still struggle at it. But the code is scissors, which is what he used first. Rock, paper, rock, scissors, which leads you to this door. And this is basically, there is basically not that much, backtracking. I will just say that. But you get led to this room. Okay, well it's a door. All right, let's get a gun. Okay, I got a shotgun. All right, cool. Yeah, let's move to. Yeah, now that you have a shotgun, you can shoot things. Now, this actually used to be a lot more creepy. Like, now, this version of it is a lot creepier, I'll be honest. But the old version, it was a lot more brighter. But, of course, panning over was a little different. But, of course, if you got jump scared, it wouldn't show the game over screen. Except this one, yeah. Anyway, you get led to this door. Sorry, Kuchisagi-ana. Did not mean to kill you. Yeah, but basically, you get led to that, but it's pretty cool. Though, the original version of this actually used to have links. There would be links right here. However, clicking on them would lead to fire, ice, and, the rest is, same thing. And it would take you back to top.html. Now, you might be wondering, why the hell did I not go back there when obviously there was a lot more installed? Well, there's actually two other jump scares. There's one where this girl will, dangle down from the top of the screen and basically jump scare you. There's another one where if you click it, basically the entire screen gets, the entire main page gets completely slashed off, and of course, it gets a jump scare. Or if you click the ad on top, you will click it several times, but then eventually it will lead to a punch out, and then it just gets to a simple, more calmer jump scare than most. Now, moving to the store, you got a maze here. All right. Okay, the maze is gone. Let's head forward. All right, do. Oh. Okay. Well, now that you have a shotgun, to kill off these people. Yeah, basically you can click that off. All right, let's move. Yeah, Elise can also be here too. And you're basically going to be doing this for the entirety of this part here. But what I basically do is just spam click, just to be on the safe side. Now back then, or is this still in the game? I wonder, hold on. No, okay, never mind. Back then, if you just kill that guy quick enough, you would get at the top left. It would show something called like close one or something like that. It didn't really mean anything, since of course it doesn't really mean anything. But of course, failing to kill either one of them, of course, gives you a game over. Now, before we enter here, you may have noticed that Elise's head appeared 2 times, I think, or like 3 times. Well, actually, past this door, there would be another part where you're basically doing this on a black screen, but of course, if one of those faces appeared, you would click and shoot it. You would have to kill 3 of them in order to move on to the next part, which is Kaiden1.html. Now, this can be the little bit of the elongated segment here, because, or not elongating segment here. This can take a while depending on if you know what you're doing. So you're kind of just like, well, okay, there's nothing else I can really do here. I can click forward though. You get led to stairs, and yeah, there are some monsters that try to kill you. Now, of course, you turn around and you're like, oh, okay, nothing's here. All right, let's move on. All right. Okay, I guess I'm moving back down again. Not dealing with you today. Oh, Jesus. I forgot about her. Yeah, so there are those two you are gonna have to try and kill. There are times where, of course, you don't have to worry about going down. Oh, I didn't get to show off the other thing. There is a nice spirit though, where if you turn around and she's there. It's a girl. It's a ghost girl that won't go like she'll go like hee hee hee, but she won't do anything. And you're supposed to click away from her. So basically, you're just passing by her like nothing's wrong. But if failed to click on her, but if you do click on her, you will be stuck in a loop for, I think, the test of time. But this actually used to take a lot longer back then. Now that we're heading down here, we got a cassette player. ここまで来てくれたあなたに大大大サービス。この先にある扉の解除ナンバーを教えてあげちゃうわ。Alright, password. 解除ナンバーは Ooh, okay. 4, 1, 2. Well, that was rude of you. Anyway. Now, you can actually go either way. You can look down or look up. Well, if you look down, the cassette tape was broken. You can do this for as long as you can. But, as seen here, the cassette tape is broken. Now, you might see this, like, writing here. But, the text here, or you may be like, well, what does this all mean? It's got numbers and whatnot. Well, as you know, the cassette player, which is now broken, said the password to the next room is 412, but you're trying to figure out the other numbers. So, Alright, well, seems like we hit the end of the road. Let's head to this room now. Well, this leads to Eugenoma, which leads to a pretty disturbing room here. Now, you can actually have sound off or on, but since, of course, it's loud in here and it will probably drive some people insane, it's automatically set to off. Well, I don't know the password to this door, so let's go to this one. So going to this door, or going to this basically hallway, will lead you to what this area is. You walk. Huh? Hey, die! Why'd you take me to the bathroom? That's not fair. Yeah, so your next segment in this game is in this bathroom. Of course, if you don't know the code, and unless you're speedrunning it, you just don't have to worry about this. But this leads to Odia. I'm not even gonna pronounce it. So you're kind of just like, well, what do I do here? I do not see my figure. What did he just say? I do not see my figure in this mirror for some reason. Oh yeah, because it's just a mirror with no reflection. You try clicking around, click on the urinals, stuff like that. I forgot there are ghosts in here too, by the way. Well, I can move this around. I can click this. A wooden board is nailed. Okay, well I guess I can't really do anything about that. Stop that, man. Okay, well let's go to this door. Yeah, that happens too, but that doesn't really mean anything. Now you're kind of just like, well, what am I doing? Oh, 7091. Okay. Well, what am I going to have to use that for? What's this door lead to? The door is locked. Well, I got no door for that. So, you might look at this wallpaper and a mysterious poster is on the wall. Do you peel this off this poster? Now, I'm not sure what the text says. I still don't know about this, but if you click yes, you get, ooh, a screwdriver. Man, I wanted that junk drawer. Okay. Oh. Get off my screen. Is this the wooden oh, okay. Well, if you looked at the mirror, you may have noticed that there are screws here. You may be able to remove this with a screwdriver. Do you want to remove this on the mirror? Which leads to the 7091 code, which makes you get a nail punch, which is basically a crowbar. Well, we're out of here, I guess. Let's just get this. You used a nail clip. Excuse me? Which gives you the key. Or the sheep key, as it said. Now, funnily enough, if you enter this door, you get led to this teddy bear. after, you know, getting everything in this room. It's kind of weird. It's cute, though, but... Oh! Get out of my sight, please. Alright. You use the sheep gate. And let's go back. Alright. Now that we're out of there, let's okay, well, I'm getting pinged again. Not you. Oh, this video is so rough, man. I can't. I cannot deal with it. I cannot deal with this shit. This shit is dumb. Okay. It's only 10. Good God, it's gonna be a long day. Anyway, alright. Well, let's enter this hallway. Huh? Hi. Hi. Oh! Okay. Yeah. Die! No, wait, I have no choice but to escape. This way. No! No! Yeah, it's a maze, and it's not gonna be a fun one. So, basically, try to figure it out yourself. Oh god! Oh god! Okay. You know, surprisingly I remember that pathway, but yeah, if you go the wrong way, it pretty much leads to dead ends. Of course, those little monsters being there to kill. Now, we can finally go to this thing here. Well, this leads to the eye code. So, if you remember, the eye code has a red eye over here, green eye, a blue eye, and then on the other one, fucking damn it. Okay, on the other one, you had blue eye, red eye, pink eye, and regular eye down there. And you get led to this weird fountain of sorts. Opening this door gives you the 412 and then the rest of the code, the 559. So, going back here, basically get led to the code that leads you to this area. Now, before we head, you know, to that area, or as this area opens, by the way, that area used to be a lot more different. Like, I mean, it got changed a lot. To the point where, there used to be, like, that face would be there, however, you would be able to shoot it. You're able to do 3 things. You would shoot at it, but it would kill you. Go close to it, it would spike you or kill you. But there used to be a thing on the right where it would be like a slot machine of sort, and if you make it land on no, it would fail. Of course, it would be, you know, you wouldn't have anything happen. But landing on yes would open the door, and it would lead to the eye code anyway. However, of course, you were given a select few amount of tries with it, so if you failed, an alarm would go off and it would kill you. So it was kind of like a dead end of sorts. But now that we're on this little roller coaster ride, this vehicle is equipped with things like a machine gun. Will you ride it? Obviously, saying no makes you go no, but if you say yes, you get to auto cart ride. Now be careful, there are stuff that is coming right at you, like Finoki faces, boxes, and eyes. You want to shoot it as quick as you can. Now I know that it may seem like you're just seeing like unloaded images and whatnot. Well, this kind of happens every time, but it also kind of is a time save because, you know, you don't want to go off and basically save everything else. But basically we're killing eyes and other stuff and shooting with, like, bullets and whatnot. Alright. Actually took the image. Oh well. But basically, if you, of course, make the cart ride without dying, you get set to this area here. Now that actually used to be a lot more harder, and also used to be a little longer because that that face, which is named Crow, if it kept attacking you, but it would get closer and closer, so you had to actually like be very quick with your clicks. This leads to this. So you're kind of just like, oh, okay, I think this thing is a lot more friendlier than this here. Well, if you were to go this area first, you're like, oh, okay, nice little door entry and whatnot. Well, wait, I can't do anything here? Yeah. Wait. Hold on. Is this the original Fire, Ice, and, other what? Hold on. Yeah, it basically leads you to that again. Though for some reason the Pie Man is early. So yeah, you can't go that way first. So you might as well have to go to the eyes. So hey, I want to enter the door. Well, this leads to, you guessed it, another one, aka the Eye Daddy. Now he's honestly the hardest of them all, as he does a lot of damage on camera. Now you won't, now thankfully, with this fight specifically, it won't be as bad as, the Poison State one, which, wow, I beat that first try. Okay, but basically, his attacks are pretty tough. He does a lot more damage than any other boss fight in the game, and there is a chance, if of course you choose like paper, or not paper, if you choose scissors, but he chooses rock, there is a chance that he will lock you out and basically kill you because he stuns you for 2 turns. And he will do the most powerful attack that you can do, which deals about, I think, like, 40 damage per shot. But beating him basically makes you enter the door. That's a nice katana there. That was not. Now this area also used to be a lot more different, but I will go into explaining on that once I defeat both sides here. Alright, well, this door is sealed by powerful magic. Yeah, by the way. You also can't enter back once you entered one area and defeated it. So now you must enter the, this place again, but now that you have a katana, you can kill that spirit finally. And now we head to more dolls. This one's blue. Oh. Alright. So you're actually supposed to click on the head that's summoning first. Of course, failing to do so will end in, of course, not having the doll count. If you fail to do this, which I might, okay, which I'm not. If you fail to do this, you will, of course, fail. But of course, if you win, you win. Now, that actually used to be a lot more different. That room that, we were in, well, if you entered it originally, there was a whole separate room for it, where you can go 2 directions. Now, if you went to the left, you would basically go to that same room. However, if you went to the right, you would get led to this little button code here, and I don't remember the exact way to do it. I think it was right, left, center, and then center, left, right. I might be wrong. But you would do it 2 times, you would get like a little book of some sort, but if you scrolled far enough, you would get a little like, you would get like this like little buff here. Now, if you didn't get the like little like curse or whatnot, you would basically you would have to kill 15 dolls instead of 10, which is what the basic version of the site has it now. But of course, now you have this little doll that's trying to escape. And this leads to a boss fight. Now, you must kill this thing several times. Clicking on the heart will regain oh yeah, that cloud. What you want to basically do is try to make it time. Back then again, it was a lot harder, but as it's doing so right now. But of course, failing to do so will basically have the thing kill you. And now, since of course you defeated that, the door is open. Let's open it. Okay, and why is my door opening? Sorry, girlfriend texted. Actually, it's a good time to mention this. This whole segment used to be a lot different back then. As previously mentioned, you know, the doll room and whatnot used to be a lot different. However, once defeating that doll room, you would actually get a code where it would have two like a drawing of like a sun dog or whatnot, a boy with a star as in a cloud head, and a cloud would be on top. Now, this will be seen once I get to this segment here, but getting that code basically means you would open up that katana, and the iDaddy boss fight actually used to be optional back then because you would get, you know, something else alongside with that. It would kind of be like a special power-up, but that segment used to be a lot more different back then, and I kind of wish it was still the same because it makes this game a little more shorter than it should be. Because I was a big fan of that when that was in the game still, or well, in this website. However, that would lead to the door on the right, which is kind of similar to what you saw with once we headed to that doll room, or we were trying to head to that doll room. If you didn't have the katana, you couldn't be able to kill the ghost. But if you killed the ghost, you would enter, you know, the room. However, there was a little bit of an Easter egg in there that if you looked back and looked back forward, there would be a secret jump scare, but it wouldn't be like, you know, it was just a minor jump scare, but it pretty much wouldn't mean anything. Now that we've defeated, you know, those two, let's go to the boss. And oh my god, it's Ronald McDonald. So he has these little eyes here that you have to click roughly about 3 times in order to, well, kill them. Actually, I'll just show what else he does. But if you fail to kill them in a certain time frame, you are going to take some damage. Now, there are certain other things you can do, which I hope he kind of shows. It's gonna be hard to see, of course. Now, he's sending you back, and you're supposed to click in time. But failing to click in time leads to you going back. But since, of course, I have, you know, no pictures and whatnot, it's hard to see what happens. But once you know, kill him and whatnot, or get rid of those little eyes, you basically are hoping to spam kill on whatever this is. Do this a few more times, and you will basically complete the game. Oh wait, did I spoil it? Uh-oh, guys, I spoiled the game. And using this button here, which you can see, we'll do a ultra kill, and basically, you basically kill him. Yeah, we won. I guess. Sorry, I yawned. Anyway, let's enter the door. Now, of course, if you've paid attention to all the codes in this game, you'll basically be led to just this final thing, which has the following of 26 being the 2648 code, the I code, which is regular I and blue I on the bottom, and the final two being 59. And just like that, you have actually defeated the game. Of course, if you skip this, it will just give you the thank you for playing, and basically you are able to view the gallery. Now, this has a lot of things that actually go unused in this game. Now, I'm not sure if any of these pictures will fully be shown or not, because of course these are hard to do and whatnot. I'm not showing this because that kind of might be age restricted. Now, this actually used to be a part of the very old Lomando.com. And this used to be the old main picture with text at the bottom scrolling saying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. This guy used to be the original 2648 code. But if you didn't get the code right, he would basically jump scare you. This guy, now, he's not used in the game at all. He's used as just, like, secret art and whatnot. But I'm not exactly sure if I remember what it is, but I don't remember the exact meaning. But I do remember that it had to do something with, like, wishing to not see what's happening right now, or, like, something, like, dark is happening right now, and I just don't wish to see it, or something like that. This art also goes unused, where it's like, I wish to go back to kindergarten, and basically it says, I want to restart my life, is basically what it says. I'm not saying that to bypass that. Now, this Happy New Year image, it didn't load, unfortunately, which I'm kind of glad it didn't, because there's a person pointing a gun at this person, and it basically says, hope that the next year is better, or something like that, or hope that I don't go back to whatever that is. I don't remember the exact name of it, but it does kind of go unused. This is by far... this picture here is a Christmas special version of the site around Christmas time, which it used to have a different game of it, which I'll show later. Then there is this picture, which unfortunately I won't show, but it's basically like two stick bug looking like faces. However, this actually was a original jump scare in top.html. Now, I can't find any moving picture of it, like, on YouTube. Though, if you look at the Lomando wiki, you can find it. But, since, of course, it's, something you can't really, access to anymore, it is pretty cool, though, that it was a jump scare. Now, this face down here, this actually used to be... that was that thing you saw in that, like, trippy room. That used to be a secret Easter egg. This right here is the sign, which can jump scare. And this is basically everything else. But what is this down here? No. I don't want to deal with you. This is a bonus jump scare. It's called the Swamp Monster or whatnot. And it basically looks like this, which is pretty cool. Now, opening the store will lead to extras. However, back then you would use to get a telephone call. Now, of course, I'll go into English version, which of course shows other little bonuses and whatnot. This is the archive. Now, this is the actual original voice of the researcher who went missing on Fantasy Island.
ここに迷い込んでからだいたい1週間くらいが経っただろうか。行く先々で幽霊が出てきてもううんざりだ。早いとここの世界から抜け出して普通の暮らしに戻りたい。そういえばこの階段を下った先にダイヤル式の扉があったんだが、その扉のものと思われるパスワードが書かれたメモを見つけた。 パスワードは412559.
What he basically said was the 599 code, by the way. But of course, as you know, it gets cut off. Graffiti on the wall. This is all the graffiti on it, which, yeah, you can look at that yourself. Now, there is a secret if you put this in, by the way, which I'll just copy it for sake, which I'll show it, but if I don't beat it, then I won't beat it. But remember that code. Now, this little, like, this, like, works with that and whatnot. Now, before we go to that, newspaper wrote on Old Fantasy Island was a fun amusement park, but it was devastated by the mysterious disappearance of the caretaker and became a haunted habitat. Yeah, that's basically what this page, that newspaper says. Now, this works with works created with Flash, whatnot, but I don't have, I don't know if it's ever been created or if it works even if you have, like, a Flash plugin and whatnot. But there used to be a little, like, few secret stuff on this, which would lead to the original Lomando.com, the very first one, there would be, like, a weird, like, it's, like, weird, like, how do I say this? Suicide, game, which was pretty fucking weird. And there used to be a puzzle as well. Now, there's a lot of more other things as you can see here. This is the button room, as this page was half of the main part, easier to understand. But as you can see, there's this little annual. That's what it's called, annual or whatever. Now, the Celestia puzzle room. This is what this used to look like, and this is the code that you would get alongside with this. And then item Father Majesty or whatever. This is the iDaddy optional boss, but back then you actually could just click on the door and you wouldn't have to fight him. You could interact with him, but of course if you said, I want to fight, you fight. But if you click the other option, he'll just be like, oh, okay. So yeah, that's pretty damn cool that, it does still show off the, all the other stuff. But let's go back to Chaos real quick. And, of course, type in, of course, the number that we got recommended. So, 1155 1318 18889. Alright. A new segment, eh? Huh, what other mysteries are we missing in this game? Let's see. What? What? A cat? I don't wanna fight this thing. As you can clearly tell, it's basically another indication of, another boss. But I want to see if I can at least get close to killing this thing, because as much as I want to show off me, showing off this other stuff, he is damn powerful, by the way. Powerful than any... God damn. I'm doing 3 more tries, okay? I'm doing 3 more tries. I will defeat this thing. Any day now. I knew. Alright, 2 more tries. This one is... I've never actually beat this one, funnily enough. Stop that. Stop that. Stop it. Okay. Yes. Yes? Did I actually beat it? Close. Wait, I killed it! I did it! I did it! Oh, this went in a different direction. I didn't mean to make it, okay. Alright. Well, that was awkward. Whatever that means. This leads to a secret area, which basically is a bunch of just animations. But there used to be a lot more down here, if I remember. I remember there used to be, like, I think, like, what, like, 4? Like, there were, like, 2 other animations that were down here as well. Kind of, like, promoting some other stuff. But, yeah, that's basically everything about this, website. I mean, there is a mobile port of this, website as well. But, yeah, that's basically it for, Momanda.com. It's basically... I hope this is a nice tutorial on this website that everybody used to, like, go fucking crazy on. And, yeah, I'll see you for my next video. I would have made this as my April Fool's joke. I'll be dead ass. I would have done it, but I'm not. So, yeah. And also, unfortunately, no Madness Media Cup series this week.